Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Adulting with Addie. I am Addie Buckley Burnell, Associate Director of Career Development in the University Career Center, and I am with you right now on a very rainy Auburn day, hoping to give you a little bit of insight into appropriate ways to address conflict and maybe difficult conversations over email. Right now, we are working in the COVID-19 reality of a lot of things happening over email, text, messaging chains, or sometimes over Zoom. But really, that face-to-face conversation is a little bit lacking. Right now, it's kind of a stereotype also of the current generation of being less capable of dealing with communication effectively in a face-to-face manner or in writing. And it's becoming more and more important that we can do that. Sometimes it is as basic as just conveying our message. Other times it is actually disagreeing with someone respectfully. And if anyone has been on social media lately, that is a skill that I think a lot of people probably need some assistance with. So I just wanted to kind of chat with you a little bit about this. When it comes to communication in general, it is important that we are always respectful, even if the other person is not being respectful. And so that means approaching people with the frame of mind of courtesy, respect, even when they don't deserve it, but respect, and conveying ourselves in a appropriate manner of professionalism, calmness, and, emotion can be very helpful in many situations, but when it comes to professional settings, we typically want to leave the emotions a little bit behind. So typically addressing people directly is ideal. When we feel disrespected, when we feel put down, when we feel misunderstood, speaking to someone one-on-one is the ideal. Sometimes that's over an email, sometimes that's one-on-one in person, but speaking with someone one-on-one and addressing the concerns quickly would be the ideal scenario. Approaching it in the I feel situation can be helpful for some of us. So when you act this way, I feel this is occurring. All right, so not you are making me feel, but addressing that a certain behavior creates an environment of feeling a certain way for you can be helpful. When that is done in person, we can usually have that conversation directly. The sooner it is to the situation is ideal, because then we can address it before it really festers, and that can be a challenge sometimes for some of us. And it becomes more obvious to the person to whom you're addressing this when that behavior happened in the first place. They're not playing the, well, when did I do that game? All right. So bringing that person to a quiet location where you can address it behind closed door one-on-one is ideal. Addressing it in an email, again, stating, when you spoke to me this way during that staff meeting, I felt disrespected and unheard. In the future, please address me in a manner that you would address someone professionally or that you have respect for. That is addressing the behavior, not attacking the person. And that's always key. All right. Address behaviors, not attacking, not being emotional, not being defensive. And that will typically work best. In some situations, that needs to happen in an email. And emails are tricky because you never know how someone is going to take your tone in an email. And so one of the resources that I have found to be the very, very helpful in addressing all of these pieces, and I am not paid endorsement here, but I had got this book years ago, and it has been incredibly useful to me throughout my professional and personal life. It's called How to Say It. All right. Now, this was a third edition. I have no clue if there's more editions. You can get it anywhere. Amazon, whatever. It actually talks specifics about how to word things in writing that could be useful for you. The chapters that I have found to be the most helpful for me are going to be the rejections. So saying no to something, especially when someone has asked you to do something that does not align with your job, you don't have time for, how to say that in a respectful manner. It also will talk about how to say congratulations or, condolences in cards tell me that isn't useful. So there's all sorts of things that it talks about. I mean, everything from how to apologize effectively, how to write emails that are persuasive, and how to even acknowledge things, how to fundraise in letters. I mean, there is no limit to what this book does. It gives you examples and talks about things to avoid and wording. So do yourself a favor. Get something like this that can help you in reference, especially when wording things in an email. For myself, when I send something to someone that is maybe not the most positive tone or the most positive, could be perceived as a negative, I will typically write that email. I will usually, especially if it's in response to something, I'll give myself a little time, maybe a day, to kind of calm, write the email, let it sit, and then I'll have someone else review it before I send it so that the person reading it is getting what I'm trying to say and coming to a productive conclusion than simply an emotional response. Emotional responses tend to be most defensive. They tend to be less likely to be perceived in a professional manner, good or bad, that just tends to happen, and they tend to be less productive in resolving to an outcome that is conducive to everyone's happiness. So I encourage you guys to leave the emotion a little bit behind, discuss behaviors when it's a concern, respond to things in a manner of productivity, and again, that book can be helpful to do that. When it comes to responding to things and saying no, typically the best option is to say no, but, and give some context. So either yes, but, or no, buts can be your friend. Saying, yes, I am happy to do that for you, but this is what I'm going to need in order to accomplish that. Okay, this is the support I need. These are the stipulations I'm putting into play. So saying yes, but, or no, but I am sure someone on this team, kind of referral, might be able to assist you. No, I'm not able to answer that question, but let me get you in contact with the person who is. So the no buts, the yes buts can be your friends. All right. So I know that's quick, out of the blue ways of handling effective communication, but I do encourage you to pay attention to the communication styles of others. Try to respond in a professional manner, have people read things over before you send them, and using resources like this is just an additional way to ensure people are getting the message you're trying to receive, or you're trying to send. Hope that was helpful for you. I'm Addie. Tune in for the next edition. Coming soon.